Well, in today's video, I'm gonna talk about the PS4 again. The PS4 does not have backwards compatibility, which really pisses me off, and I don't know what Sony's thinking when they say that they're not really considering it, because their profit margins would be up about 30%, and I would be one of the ones to pick up one immediately if that ever happened legitimately for backwards compatibility, and then I wouldn't have to worry about not picking games up for the PS4 because it had backwards compatibility. So, and I don't want to pay $20 a month for a streaming service for just playing my PS3 games or my PS2 games or my PS1 games, which my PS3 already does. So it's like Sony has only thought about recuperating their losses, but they lost more profit by making 7 different PS3s and not just sticking with one model, which was the good one, which was the 60 or the 20 gig, which they could have did the same thing for the PS4. I mean, I would have picked up a PS4 immediately if they kept the same mantra that they've had for the last about 10 years, or a total of 16 including the PS2 days. I mean, if it's not broken, do not fix what works for that thing. If it's not broken, don't fix the motto. I mean, but Sony has broken a good feature for it because they said it was too costly to produce it that way. I disagree, because games sell the system. When you don't have any games for the PS4, then what's the point of having the PS4? I mean, I know people from Sony, and I talked to one of them yesterday for a couple weeks ago, because he said he bought a PS4. He was even persistent on making me buy one, and I asked him how many games does he have, and he only said 2, and his girlfriend is the only one who uses it. And I'm like, dude, in my head I'm like thinking that, why would I want to? I only have 7 on pre-order, and I haven't even bothered picking up those games yet. I'm like, because I don't have a PS4, so I'm thinking, what's the point? And I even said there's 15 games I actually have to have for it in order for me to buy it. And backwards compatibility, if they had that, because I already have about 100 games for the PS3 and 73 PS2 games and maybe 5 for the PS1, so it was a no-brainer that I picked up a PS3 because it had backwards compatibility at the time. But if it doesn't have that for the PS4, I'm like thinking, why would I want to pay for that? And I'm thinking, why wouldn't I want to fix my PS3 if it ever broke for at least $1,000? And if PS4 had all those functionalities that the PS3 had, of course I would definitely pick up one. I mean, it's just a waste of money on my part, and I'm biding my time in buying a PS4 because there's no point. Like, I'm trying really hard not to buy one because I don't want one. Because they always talk about, or at least on like posts for the news for Sony's, they said they're focusing on PS4 games. Okay, all Sony is doing is remaking old PS3 games, the remastered version. You could only remaster something if it was 10 years old, which God of War 3 was about 7, but even then it was 3. It's not the collection, it's not from the PS2. I mean, so PS3 is still better because they have all the God of War games on one console. And for the PS4 to say it's all mighty and powerful as a system, then prove it. Then utilize what works for you. Utilize what works for you, Sony. I mean, come on. I would have been on board with it if it had backwards compatibility, not this $20 a month for streaming service for reusing my games from the PS2 and the PS1 and the PS3. I mean, games sell the console, not the system selling the games. I mean, that's just a fact. Because if I was the CEO of Sony, that's what I would have fixed from day one. Nobody in the right mind, if they were smart enough, would get rid of what worked for you. I would have kept backwards compatibility. But from Microsoft's point of view, they don't really need to be in the gaming industry because they have something to fall back on if this Xbox One doesn't pan out. But I think it will, because so far they've been making the right moves, and who knows, when they actually have backwards compatibility for the Xbox 360 for the Xbox One, maybe I'll be on their side. Who knows? But that's just my perspective. And no matter what, I always need a Wii because it's Super Smash Brothers. Do I necessarily need God of War? Probably not, because God of War series was over after God of War 3, or allegedly over. Did I really need the new Chains of the new one that came out for the PS3? No, but I did anyway, because it's the God of War series and everybody likes God of War, or at least I do. For Ratchet & Clank, do I really need it? Yes, because I have the full set on the PS3, so I needed to get it for the PS4, but I don't have the system yet, so I'm waiting for the day when the other shoe has finally dropped, and I'm finally getting a PS4, but not at this juncture. I don't think, for me, PS4 was necessary like everybody else. And that is it for this video, because that's all I can think of for this at this moment, and that is all.